Hi friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we have to discuss about grid function in Matplotlib library. Suppose we want to draw the grid lines on x-axis, y-axis and both on x-axis and y-axis on a plot, we have to use grid function. Grid function can take only one parameter, that parameter called as axis. By using that axis, we have to draw the grid lines on x-axis, y-axis, both on x-axis and y-axis. Suppose we have to draw the grid lines only on x-axis, we have to use this syntax plt dot grid axis is equal to x. By using this statement, we have to draw the grid lines on the x-axis only. Next, suppose we want to draw the grid lines only on y-axis, we have to use the following syntax plt dot grid axis is equal to y. By using that statement, we have to draw the grid lines on the y-axis only. Suppose we have to draw the grid lines both x-axis and y-axis. At that time, we are not using axis parameter. That means by default, without using axis parameter in the grid function, we have to draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis. So plt dot grid open parenthesis close parenthesis. So by using this syntax, we have to draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis. At that time, the parameter axis is optional. So this is the plot. We have to draw the grid lines on the x-axis only. So here this line is called as grid lines. Okay. So grid lines are drawn only on x-axis. Next, this plot displays the grid lines on the y-axis. So this is called as grid line. This is called as grid line. This one is called as grid line. This one is called as an grid line. This one is called as grid line. So grid lines are drawn only on y-axis in this plot. Grid lines drawn only on the x-axis in this plot. Grid lines on both axes. Okay, on the x-axis these are the grid lines, on the y-axis these are the grid lines. So we want to draw the grid lines on both axes. At that time, we do not use the parameter called axis, because by default grid lines are displayed on x-axis and y-axis without using parameter in the grid function. So this is a simple example of draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis. Here we are applying the line properties on the grid function. The line properties are nothing but line width, line size and line color. Okay, here we are applying these three parameters on the grid function. So the resultant graph can be shown in this way. Okay, now we have to draw the grid lines on the x-axis and y-axis on both x-axis and y-axis in the system. Now we can go for the system. First, we have to import the matplotlib library. So, matplotlib library is used for drawing the charts. Click on this video button. This line is successfully executed when we are getting the tick mark. Next, now we have to import the pyplot module in matplotlib library. So, pyplot is a module that is used for drawing the charts. So that we have to import the pyplot module in matplotlib library. This line is successfully executed. Next, we have to provide the alternative name for matplotlib.pyplot. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. PLT is the alternative name for matplotlib.pyplot. Next one, I am taking some values on the x-axis. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am taking values on the y-axis. So 5, 15, 10, 25, 20. Next one, we have to plot plt.plot. plt.plot x comma y. Next one, we are providing the label plt.xlabel is equal to plt.xlabel within the double quotes I am giving x-axis. Next, we are providing the y label plt.ylabel within the double quotes we are giving y-axis. Next one, we are providing the title plt.title grid function used in line plot. Next one, we have to write grid function plt.grid. I am using the parameter called axis is equal to, within the double quotes I am giving x. Next, plt.show. So now click on this button. This code is executed. Here we are getting, see this one, on the x-axis we are giving 6 values, on the y-axis we are giving only 5 values. So now I am giving 30. Now again, x-axis and y-axis containing the same values, otherwise we are getting the error. So see this one, label for the x-axis is x-axis, label for the y-axis is y-axis, title for this chart is grid function used in plot. Here grid lines are drawn only on the x-axis because in the grid function we are passing the parameter axis is equal to x. At that time grid lines can be drawn only on x-axis. Suppose we want to draw the grid lines on the y-axis. I am copy this code. Here plt.grid, the parameter axis is equal to y. Now the grid lines can be displayed on the y-axis by executing this program. This program is to be executed. Yes. So the grid lines can be drawn only on y-axis. Suppose we want to draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis. At that time, we are not passing the parameter axis. Okay. Without using axis parameter, the grid lines can be displayed on both x-axis and y-axis. Code is to be executed. So see this one, grid lines on the x-axis and the grid lines on the y-axis. Okay. So grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis in this plot. Grid lines only on the y-axis in this plot. Grid lines only on the x-axis in this plot. Okay. Now in the grid function we have to pass line properties. What are the three line properties? The three line properties are line width, line color, line size. Okay. Now in the grid function we are passing the parameter line size, that means ls. ls is equal to, I am giving 2. Next, line color, C is equal to, within the double quotes I am giving red. Line width is equal to 2. Line width is equal to 2. Line color is equal to red. Now we are executing this code again. See this one. Grid lines are displayed on the red color and the line width is equal to 2. Suppose line width is equal to 1. So see this one. Yes, line width is equal to 1. So the grid lines displayed on the x-axis. Okay. Next one, another one is line style. ls is equal to, within the double quotes I am giving dotted. So see this one, by executing this code. So here grid lines can be displayed as dotted lines. Now suppose line width is equal to 2. So see this one, grid lines can be displayed as dotted lines on the x-axis. Now we can go for the second one. Here I am giving line width is equal to 2 and line color is equal to orange. And the line style ls is equal to dashed. So now we are executing this code. See this one. Grid lines can be displayed only on the y-axis. Line width is equal to 2, color is equal to orange, and line style is dashed. Okay, next. Now we can go for the third diagram. Here I am giving line width is equal to 2, line color is equal to green, and the line style LS is equal to, within the double quotes, dash dot. Dash dot means after dash one dot is displayed, after dash one dot is displayed. So see this one, dash dot, dash dot, dash dot. Okay, so grid lines can be displayed on both axes, x-axis and y-axis. At that time, axis parameter we are not passing. By default, grid lines can be displayed on both the x-axis and y-axis in the grid function. Okay. So in this way, we have to draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis by passing the line properties such as line width, line color, and line style. Here, grid lines can be displayed on the y-axis by passing the parameter axis is equal to y. That means grid lines can be displayed on the y-axis only, and the line properties are line width, line color, and the line style. Next, here grid lines can be displayed on the x-axis only by passing the line properties such as line width, line color, and line style. Okay, so mainly grid function is used for drawing the grid lines on the x-axis, y-axis, and both on x-axis and y-axis. Okay, grid function generally take only one parameter, that parameter called as axis. Okay, suppose we want to draw the grid lines on the x-axis. So we are passing the parameter axis is equal to x in the grid function. Suppose we want to draw the grid lines on the y-axis. We are passing the parameter axis is equal to y in the grid function. Suppose we want to draw the grid lines on both x-axis and y-axis. At that time, we are not passing any axis parameter for the grid function. Okay, so by default, grid lines can be displayed on both x-axis and y-axis. We are without passing any parameter. So the grid function is available in Matplotlib library. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. If you really like this video, please share this video to your friends and classmates. If you really like this video, please click on the like button and click on the bell icon to get the future updates in my YouTube channel after subscribing my YouTube channel, Dibbela Srinivasa Rao. If you have any doubts, please put your doubts in the comment section. I will clarify your doubts. Thank you one and all for watching this video.